There's so much good quality sitting on the shelves for a reasonable price that people are starting to understand, look, Buffalo Trace is fantastic. It does not take away that this isn't good.
No.
But if you're living in a state where you are trying to drive around from store to store to store,
go buy this. No, but there are always people, B, that are going to turn their nose up at this just because of the availability and the price. And what we're saying is we, again, our original mission, taking the pretentiousness out of it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you can find something that's $25 and is delicious, go grab it. This is a good alternative. And that's our job, is to find the good alternatives.
Yeah, and if you got an issue, pour it in a bottle. Pour it in some other bottle.
Absolutely.
So, you haven't really proved your point.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
The thunder from down under, my
That's
favorite
weighed in.
koala. What do you mean, Katie?
Well, you were trying to determine if the benchmarks were a good substitute for Buffalo Trace.
Oh. Well, that's what we did, Katie.
No, you drank 3 benchmark products and you talked about them. You didn't actually compare it to Buffalo Trace. To do that, you'd have to taste the Buffalo Trace against the benchmarks.
You want us to drink more bourbon today? That sounds fantastic.
No, I'm challenging you to an episode where I pour 2 benchmark products and you compare them to one Buffalo Trace. Then you taste and rate them. Blind.
So what you want is another chance for us to make fools of ourselves on camera.
That's right. Aussie Rules is back, my friend.
Well, we all know why we're here.
Yeah, tonight on Tortured Bourbon, we get torched.
Yeah, that's fair.
What's up, Heather?
B, you know what's up. Your wife, hailing to us from the land down under, has... Yes, cue the song.
Yep.
She has officially thrown down the gauntlet.
She just done that didgeridoo right down.
She really did.
Yeah. Welcome to Tortured Bourbon. If you didn't catch our last episode, we tasted 3 benchmark offerings from Buffalo Trace, a brand many say delivers excellent value. But Katie, in her Aussie wisdom, decided to challenge us to a blind tasting to see if we could actually tell the difference between benchmark and Buffalo Trace.
So here we are at her mercy. It's a scary place to be. If this is your first time watching, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button.
Help us get to 200.
Yes, please do. And if you want to know why that's important, check out our previous episode on our New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
But if you really enjoy seeing 2 people get completely punked on YouTube, this is where you need to be.
This is Ashton Kutcher's dream. All right, Katie, what have you got for us?
All right, experts.
No.
Oh, that felt sarcastic.
Did it?
That fits right in.
Yep.
In front of you, I have placed 3 bourbons. One,
Got this. I feel like I
only
should
one,
stretch.
is Buffalo Trace. The other 2 are Benchmark Small Batch and Benchmark Top Floor. All 3 are made from Buffalo Trace's Mystery Mash Bill number 1. 2 you can grab off the shelf. The 3rd you'll have to bottle chase like Smokey and the Bandit.
Greatest movie ever.
It is a good one.
There's a reason their dog is named Bandit.
Let's see if you 2 bourbon junkies can pick them out, rank them, and provide some insight.
She lives for this.
I mean, at worst, we're going to taste 3 really good bourbons.
At best, we're going to prove that Aussie wrong.
Let's do this.
Can you at least give us the tasting notes, being 2 of these we've never had?
That's honest to God truth.
Sure, we'll see if it helps.
What a vote of confidence.
She loves me.
Not me.
Well, I mean, I gave her the green card.
I think someday she loves me more than you, though.
That's probably the truth to that.
All right. First up, we have Buffalo Trace. They describe themselves as a deep amber whiskey with a complex aroma of vanilla, mint, and molasses.
I've never got
the
mint.
Never.
Ever.
It's pleasantly sweet on the palate,
Agreed.
with notes of brown sugar, spice, giving way to oak, toffee, dark fruit, and anise. The finish is long, smooth, and packed with depth. Next up is Benchmark Top Floor. They say it has scents of subtle sweetness and baking spice, followed by flavors of light citrus, butterscotch, and oak.
That actually sounds really delicious. I'm looking forward to this.
It's like a Christmas dessert.
We tried a Christmas bourbon.
Not good.
Don't do it.
And finally, Benchmark Small Batch. The aroma of vanilla and oak gives way to delightful hints of caramel, leather, and honey. I feel like I'm presenting gifts on The Price is Right.
You're doing an excellent job.
I got to chew on some saddlebags to enjoy this bourbon.
Let's do it.
Well, we've got our work cut out for us. So small batch is 90, Buffalo Trace is 90, top floor is 86.
So we are not going to be able to tell a difference based on the proof point here.
I'm not that good.
86 to 90 does not make that big a difference for me.
No.
So,
and two of these we've never had. We've had the other three benchmarks quite a bit.
We have, but we have not had top floor or small batch. So the Buffalo Trace is supposed to have a mint smell. B and I have had Buffalo Trace many times, and we have never gotten a mint smell or flavor. And we have picked that out of other bourbons before.
And not liked it.
We don't love it. So I'm a little skeptical.
They just chat GTP their description.
All right,
it's not real.
You ready for number one?
Yeah, let's smell. Can we smell them all first?
So that off the bat has a nutty smell.
That has a nutty smell. I agree. Mm-hmm. Which kind of reminds me of the Bottled and Bond.
The Benchmark Bottled and Bond, absolutely. So this has what I refer to as a classic bourbon smell.
Yeah, caramel.
A little hint of vanilla, not super strong. I don't get any nutty smell in that one, though.
No. But nutty was not described in any of the description.
I almost get a bread flour smell on this one. Flour as in baking flour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of strong.
Good job.
Thank you.
I know what I would have picked up that it was different. I would not have identified that. But yes.
Yeah. It's pretty strong.
Bread flour.
It's like walking into a bakery.
Bread flour.
Bread flour. 100% bread flour.
Especially the end.
Uh-huh.
Like that.
Yep.
I don't know how to describe it.
It's like when you're baking and flour kind of like wafts up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strong, actually. Very strong.
Well, we're not going to guess what any of these are, but we've described their smell perfectly.
All right.
All right.
Back to number one. That's our nutty smell. I get a little nuttiness on the taste, too. A little peanut buttery.
That tastes the most like the 100 proof. The Bottled and Bond. Everyone's tastes are different.
Absolutely.
And that's part of what makes bourbon fun. We get the familiar peanut. The snack of my youth, the snack of my teenage years, the snack now, peanuts. Peanuts has always been very prevalent.
But this tastes like the shelled peanuts, like
it
when
does.
you crack them out
does.
of the shell.
So peanuts is a familiar.
Very familiar, yeah.
And we're both, I mean, if you've watched this show more than once, we both know that I eat peanut butter
daily.
With a spoon.
Daily.
With a spoon.
Yeah.
I'm getting the oak.
The nut.
Yep. There is sweetness.
But it's subtle. It's more subtle than I think some of the other benchmark expressions that we've tasted.
I'd have to put them next to them, but yeah. But compared to these two, the smell is carrying over into the taste.
I think that
the aroma is in the taste.
This is a sweeter smell, though. The middle one, number 2, is a sweeter smell than the first one.
But this is okay. So this is nuttier or oakier then?
Nuttier and oakier, 100%. I agree with that. So let's start with number 2.
I would drink that.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that very much. This has a very pleasant smell. It has a bit of a sweet smell. It's got a caramel flavor.
Sugar up front.
Mm-hmm. Sugar in the back too.
Yeah, I don't get the oak here.
Not very little. That has that finish is like straight sweet. Taste it now in your mouth.
Oh yeah.
It feels like sugar. Wow. If you are looking for something easy to drink with no burn whatsoever.
None.
And sweetness, whatever this is your pick.
Yeah, if you're looking for rye,
This is
complexity.
Don't go here.
That's not saying it's bad. It's not.
Oh, no. I find one to be more complex than two.
One definitely has a more
It
nut
has
flavor,
that more
and oak
nuttier flavor, oaky flavor. It's got some sweetness there, but it has some other things too. Two is very sweet, very mellow.
In your mind, should the small batch and the Buffalo Trace be the most similar, knowing the descriptions and the proof?
Conceptually, yes.
But we just don't know in reality.
We don't know.
Yeah, all right.
So are we going for 3? I get a really strong bread flour smell.
I've never noticed that with Buffalo Trace.
And now I taste it too. Taste it. It tastes like bread dough.
Whenever my great-granny or granny would make cookies.
Oh, I'd eat the heck out of that dough.
Oh, and you just take that plastic spatula, that 99-cent, and just clean that bad boy out. Let me tell you what I really liked. When they would make a cake, make a white cake, like you're going to make a white cake with a nice chocolate icing.
Yes.
And you're sitting there.
That white cake batter was it was superior.
And that whole thing, you shouldn't eat a raw egg.
I'm eating it.
Oh, I'm eating it.
So it's so funny you say that though, because
But this tastes like dough. This smells like dough.
It smells like dough. It tastes like dough. And bringing it back to what we love about bourbon is it a lot of times harkens us back to our childhood. A lot of the smells and the flavors that we bring back. Not that we were drinking bourbon as children.
I'm still thinking, all this alcohol takes us back to our childhood.
No, the flavors you and I tend to bring out: cream corn, tobacco, summer rain.
All those Marlboros I was just hitting at 12.
Anyway,
the smell of the rain field.
We tend to bring back things that have to do with our southern roots. You and I get very nostalgic sometimes when we drink bourbon, and I think that's because part of it is that southern tradition of those different individual flavors.
What we relate to is this around the table buttermilk biscuits, green beans soaked in lard, and corn.
And fatback.
And fatback. And corn on the cob was a necessity.
Dude.
But back to what we're saying, I'm very proud of you. I would not have hit the dough. This is dough.
This is dough. And you said the buttermilk biscuits? This is biscuit dough.
It really is.
It's 100% biscuit dough.
Now, so we have to rank all these. Now, knowing that 2 of these, you can walk into an ABC store, and I think they're $20.
Yes, they were both around $20.
All we're missing is if we had a grain to glass, if we had Bardstown bottled in bond with that tobacco smell.
Yep.
What we have is a collection of growing up in the agricultural South, which we've lost. Now, I have no idea what cotton tastes like. That's not what I'm getting at.
It evokes a memory.
One of my favorite things to do, and this makes me seem so much older than I am, but I liked it when I was a kid.
You're an old soul. That's okay. That's a good thing.
I'm an old soul that likes to go in a mosh pit, but there's something about going to the farmer's market.
So I have a confession to make. I get a little teary-eyed at the farmer's market because I'm like, it reminds me of my childhood. It's all these people gathering together to put forth the things that they have made.
That's right. It's hard to express if you're not from here. We grew up seeing cornfields. I grew up with the sweet potato fields because I'm more in the eastern North Carolina.
I grew up with cornfields, tobacco fields,
that's right.
Cotton.
We both grew up with corn because corn is what you feed to everything on the farm.
It's easy to grow.
That's right.
And you can kind of recycle
parts
of it.
You're feeding it to the pigs. You're feeding it to the cows.
Yeah.
It is coming out.
Chickens.
That's right. You are feeding corn. And then you're turning that meal you're turning it into grits. Mm-hmm. You're turning it into everything we eat in the South. One reason we go back to bourbon is that we find smells and tastes from a very agricultural background. But that's interesting about bourbon. And when people are like, well, I like vodka. It doesn't taste like it.
What do you like about it?
What do you like about it? I mean, we're sitting here talking about...
We're like evoking our childhood.
3 of these bad boys are $19.99 or less. And we have a whole connection with our past.
That's one of the things I love about bourbon is you can taste those different flavors.
That's what makes bourbon unique.
Yes, I agree.
It is about, it's the oak.
It's the love.
Yeah,
it's the time.
It's the time.
Almost like a farmer. Like the Russells are almost like farmers. It's the feel of it. Like a farmer can tell you, That's not done yet. It's a little bit of magic and artistry to it.
There is, and that's what a master distiller brings.
Absolutely.
But we were challenged with...
Back to what we were challenged with.
The editing on this episode is going to be a challenge. Okay, I'm going to tell you that 1 is peanuts. Mm-hmm. 3 is bread flour.
Mm-hmm. And 2 is classic sweetness.
2
Very
is
mellow,
classic
no
sweetness.
burn.
So 1 and 2 I struggle with, but I think Buffalo Trace has a little more tinge to it. But if we're wrong, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Now, as we would rank them, they're all dogs.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, our dogs are that dog will hunt. And when you grow up on a farm,
That's
the dog that'll hunt,
something.
that's a loyal dog.
Yeah.
That dog
That's
will
a good
hunt.
thing, not a bad thing.
That's a good thing. So all 3 of these I would serve. They're so unique. And the fact these come from the same mash bill.
I enjoyed all of those. But they're so different.
They are. Which one do you think is your favorite? I will tell you that regardless of what it is, number 1 is my favorite due to peanuts. Number 3 is my second favorite because it's got a couple more flavors in it.
Yeah.
And I like a little bit of pepper.
Right.
Number 3, I don't have that pepper. I have a sweetness.
Number 2.
Excuse
you
me.
don't have
Excuse
the
me.
pepper.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
I knew
Number 2.
what you're talking about. My favorite, slightly 1 because of complexity.
2
It
might
has
be
a
Buffalo
little
Trace.
bit. I think 2 is Buffalo Trace.
2 might be Buffalo Trace.
That's what I said. I think 2 is Buffalo Trace. I think 1 is my favorite because of the slight complexity. 3 is number 2 for straight nostalgia. This is 3, but again, they're all delicious. I think this is Buffalo Trace.
If you have never woken up to someone toasting you day-old biscuits that have got butter topping, you haven't woken up.
You haven't lived.
I mean, it's a whole different
Put a
world.
little homemade jam on that.
All right, so are we going to go with number 2 as Buffalo Trace?
Yeah, I think
so.
so.
We're conflicted with 1 or 2.
I think 2 is Buffalo Trace.
So what do we think number 1 is then?
I think that's the small batch. No, I think this is Buffalo Trace, small batch, top floor.
I'll go with it. Producer Katie, we're running out of time. Help us out.
Your least favorite, pour number 2, is the Buffalo Trace.
We got it!
Your second favorite is pour number 3, which is the small batch, which means that
top
your
floor.
favorite is top floor.
I had no idea. I've never tasted top floor
But
small batch.
Y'all did great.
We nailed the Buffalo Trace, which is pretty awesome.
And that makes sense because they've marketed Buffalo Trace to be
mass appeal.
Mass appeal.
Mass
But
appeal.
but to be clear, we had to rank 3 that we ranked the same,
They're all very
and
good.
2 was good.
Oh, yeah.
So we're
That
not,
was not a judgment call on 2 not being delicious.
No, this is still good stuff. Here's my... Yes, ma'am.
So just, you mentioned it was like really, really sweet. No one knows the mash bill, but it is speculated and believed that it is roughly, mash bill number 1, 75% corn, 8% rye, and 17% malted barley.
Very sweet.
Very sweet.
Very sweet.
But here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good. All of them were good.
Now, it's price point if you get it MSRP.
Grab it.
So it's $29.99, probably swiping
Plus
up with
tax, yeah.
plus tax. That's not bad. That is fantastic. But what we're telling you, it's going to taste a little different. What was number 1?
Top floors.
You got 4 proof less, which I dare you.
Yeah, I dare you to taste the difference in that.
The reason I liked it better,
You like the peanut flavor.
I like the peanut flavor.
You like the peanut flavor.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know you are, and that's fine.
I'm okay with it. I'll tell you what, this show continues to shock me. The market is flooded in the $20 to $30 range. Mm-hmm. But here's the question. So I walk into your sorority function, and they're so sophisticated. Mm-hmm. And I was Greek, so I'm not making fun of the Greeks. We put this down, and everyone runs to it.
Mm-hmm. Because they recognize the name.
They recognize the name.
And then they can't just walk in and get it.
And to be clear, I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Right? But if I walk in with this at 86 proof and go, hey, baby, this looks like a Jack Daniels bottle at Benchmark, and it's an 86 proof, and this is going to make you taste like Planters. I'm going to be able to take that bottle home with me. Mm-hmm. Because labeling is real.
Labeling is real. But it's delicious.
It is fantastic.
It's really good. What have we learned, B, today?
I've learned that when Sazerac bought Benchmark in 1989...
They made a good decision.
They took those names that were well known and they took their mash bills, and they have figured out a way to make some very unique bourbons out of single mash bills.
Yeah.
Which is what we see with my baby Wild Turkey.
That's true.
Where they take one mash bill.
And they make several iterations of it and do very unique things with it.
But my question is this. If this is available everywhere, why can't this be? They're not making... Look, when they sell these at MSRP...
You know the answer to that question.
When they sell these at MSRP, they don't make... They make a little more than off this.
Yeah. Not a ton.
But they're not making the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
When we put a Colonel Taylor up here that they're selling at $45.99 or $50.99, that's what you're selling. That's what you're selling Wild Turkey at. What you're selling Rare Breed at, or Russell's 10.
Right, and Russell's 10. Yeah,
so I can walk in a store. I can buy Russell's 10 all day. I will take the Pepsi challenge with this and Russell's 10 all day. All day. Twice on Sunday, no fear. All right? Half the time I'm going to pick Buffalo Trace. Half the time I'm going to pick Russell's 10. They're fantastic. Why is it that the good people of Sazerac can keep this on the shelf?
But not that.
But not that. And that is the question I have.
Because they have created a cult following with that. That's why. And so it flies when it is on the shelf. But on that note, to be continued on our Buffalo Trace journey.
Yes, tune in because we're going deep.
So deep.
So deep.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.